That's perfect. Full reset.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Hans one with the baseball bat was another one with his brother and the chin scar. I had something similar like that happen. My brother didn't get a chin scar from that one, but what I think was a psyop was we were all sledding down the hill at my house, and my brother just pops up out of nowhere, and he had like red stuff on his face, and it looked kind of like blood, but you didn't get a good look at it. And we had to go to the hospital for him to get stitches on his chin, and it was overnight, and it was we slept outside of the room, and he had a chin scar, and it was. And the weird thing is he has a butt chin, so I wonder if that was like a butt chin insertion. Like, I don't remember, I was so young, but I think it might have been.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's odd. Well, it's definitely odd.
We can kind of keep going on what we're doing now, but the only thing I have planned, and it'd be interesting to see what your plans are, just for the viewers, see what we're going to go over.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into like stuff that Jesus says that I don't completely understand just yet, and we'll try to decipher that.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and I don't know, I usually have some notes from the week that I go over, but it's good to keep the conversation going naturally as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good to get into the Word. I definitely have some goals in the Bible to talk about too. Let's talk about the obscure the obscure lessons from Jesus that give us pause. Let's interpret them.
Sure, awesome. All right. So, oh my gosh, I'll send you this image over. They messed up on one of the. I can send it to you. Are you on your phone recording this, or are you on?
I'm on the computer, and you can send it to me, and I'll get it, and it's up on the screen during the recording, so it'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of the crazy pictures I caught. It was one of the characters of this video game I play, Overwatch. They didn't have their forehead being covered by the hair, and it's just crazy how obvious the like head hitbox is for this character.
Oh my god, it's enormous! Holy crap! She looks like the character in Ex Machina. Have you seen that film?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's like a robotoid human. Yeah, like she is decked out in the pink headband and the blue, cyan and the pink. Yeah, wow. She's got an enormous head box, and that looks like she's taking some HGH or I don't know what, but she's got a light bulb head. She's got a light bulb head.
Light bulb head.
Or I don't know. What another one is like the ancient Egyptian. The long skulled. I can't remember the term. What's the term for it? Like Akhenaten, his appearance, like the long, almost like alien skull.
The slanted head. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
very slanted.
I think they make fun of that in Coneheads, and there's a myriad of the elongated skull. Here's this daughter of Amenephis, Akhenaten. I'll send it to you in the chat. Hold on. Should work. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Like that elongated. It's so trippy. It's like hormones, or is it some other race? I don't know. It's so bizarre.
Well, there's a bunch of like bloodlines in like early Old Testament where they're like, these people are like born evil, and you shouldn't like even pity their children. You shouldn't marry any of them. You shouldn't do any of that. Maybe like that was one of like the Old Testament kind of villains God made.
Yeah, because they're undermining, and they're trying to break you down the whole time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like this hidden tribe, the lurking class. It's so odd.
Okay, so first thing, I think I'm going to send it, that I have kind of a pause with. Actually, I can send them all at once. This is great.
You can send them, or I also have the KJV, the search words or verses up.
Okay. Well, I got them right here, so I'm just going to send them. And there's perfect. A couple more that I'll bring up. But...
Okay, perfect.
Dude, I'm oddly close to some neighbors, but this is the only spot I can get a connection. Whatever. Screw it.
Oh my god.
And I saw that they were outside earlier, so it's kind of sketch, but whatever.
Oh yeah.
Preach it on the housetops.
Yeah, exactly. It should we should not be having to hide these things. These are things that everybody ought to be talking about all the time.
Yeah, especially for as long as they've known it, definitely should be talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm thinking about this. Agree with thine adversary quickly.
Okay.
While thou art in the way with him. Does that mean like I don't know? This is probably me thinking illogically, but it's like God's like, okay, there's someone in your way that's trying to screw with you. Just agree with what they tell you to do, and as soon as they're out of your way, just go do what you need to do. Like that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Yeah, like you're basically going to be hazed and mocked and treated poorly, and you're not supposed to you're not supposed to react to it. You're not supposed to have a deep, like a visceral reaction.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just to me, it's like there's so many people that are going to try to stop doing what you're doing because it's good. They're going to try to stop you and put you down in whatever way they can, but you don't have to succumb to that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think like living in the Word, it means you have to speak calmly. You can't feel on edge because people won't listen to you. They'll feel like you lost your point or you're not thinking clearly. But if you can speak calmly and sensibly about the matter at hand, and people get angry about that, I think they'll wind up running away in fury because what they're angry about is so silly. They'll have to rethink and come back again. Because I don't know, like talking about the tares, talking about like Strange Realm, like he has hope that there's a little God in everybody, and I believe that too.
Yeah,
and I think that's where you have to say, like, in that kind of interaction, yes, this person might come up to you and do these things, but maybe, just maybe, they leave and they think about what happened and they think that, maybe they can make it better, or they don't want to act that way anymore. There's a lot that can come from it. And I think, yes, you have, but Jesus' advice here is perfect. Because you're like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but even though it's adverse to me, it doesn't make sense, and I don't agree with it. I'm not gonna ridicule it because I'm not gonna judge you. Let God be the judge. It's kind of like let God have the vengeance if you're gonna have these impure, dark thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that goes really to the second half of it. What you're saying, like unless He's going to deliver you to the judge. Yeah, I really like that point.
It's crazy though, because it makes me think of like something like, I don't know, like porn. Like if someone comes to you and they're like, "Oh, I just love all this porn" or whatever, like you would just like you would say, "All right, like I can understand." You wouldn't like take a different angle and try to help them. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like, I guess it's so much of it is the tone of the adversary. If they're pressing something on you, then this is a response.
Yeah. If they're trying to stop you from doing good, just be like, okay, just to get them out of your way as quickly as possible so you can keep on doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, Matthew's full of kernels of wisdom like this. This is so helpful because I think this goes a lot into what you were talking about in your video about waking up well.
True.
And I think I texted you about this, but I think that you have woken up well from what I've heard about your story and with your parents and the heavy response and sending you into the psychiatric ward and all of this, it shows that the truth stands on its own, and they're starkly opposed to it, but it's because you stand profoundly in. I think, like Jesus called Peter Satan, it's that direct. It's honestly admirable. I mean, it's interesting. I think family dynamics are interesting too, where you're younger. Like if I was your age, I probably would have responded the way that you did, and there would have been some crazy action like that. But when the fact that I found most of this stuff out later, and I had this little presentation beforehand that didn't go through all of it, I didn't quite like understand the trans aspect completely by December 2019. But then a little bit after that, it became clear, and I was like, oh my god, if I had done that same lecture 4 or 5 months later, I would be they would be completely different, and they would be at arms like they were with you. It's such a weird thing because there's different things you wake up to, and I think bringing up things like animals, they might laugh at that, they might not they might even think about it for a second, but when you talk about the trans aspect, it's all shut down. They're not gonna engage in the way that makes sense. It's so ridiculous, but I think
they're gonna keep on denying. And Hans Warmont, when he was waking up, he really pressed his family on that, and eventually he got them to admit some celebrities are obviously trans.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, and probably some Maria Shriver type. It's so interesting what they will wake up to, what they won't. Recently, my sisters even came around the corner for anti-vax, which is great. I love having that to talk to my sister about. It's the little bit that they give us where they will admit they think certain things about. It's great to hear.
Yeah, and that's a great one. And hearing about the anti-vaxxers and that being more widespread, but not obviously heavily advertised for obvious reasons, because Satan rules the world. But a lot of people that may have grown up in these families don't agree with every one of Satan's rules.
Right.
And
especially the ones that are detrimental to them. I think the reason you see the most suppression in videos is a health misinformation. It's because there are so many people that are anti-vax that literally can't have a voice about it because it'll be taken down immediately as medical misinformation.
Exactly. There's so many cases, anecdotes out there of people that have a partner that works as a nurse, and they get all the vaccinations, they get sick each time they have them, and then the other partner, nothing happens to them because they refuse to do any vaccinations, and they trust their body, and they have faith in what they're eating, and just it never made sense. I think the way they sell it as this necessary high defense, your body has to go into this high defensive mode so that when it comes around again, it'll be prepared. I think that is kind of built into the militaristic idea, the whole drone idea. It's they want you thinking of your body completely wrong. Your body can heal. They want you thinking your body needs all this stuff in it when it doesn't.
Yeah.
And
that's something we can't talk about. That's what gets channels taken down. I already have a strike on my Snow Global Pedocle channel because of that.
It's insane.
You have to talk about COVID and say CV instead of COVID, and the V instead of vaccines. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And that's probably the highest one where people just disagree with Satan on is that whole poison thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it is the ultimate. He's even if it's not a direct poison, it's in no way good for you. And you have all these obvious examples of Sid's death in Japan going down after they pushed back their vaccination schedules. Mm-hmm. And I mean, all of these things just point to how they aren't that helpful, and often the diseases that they're set out to protect you from you're unlikely to get unless you're somewhat deviant, you're doing things you're kind of highly sexual and dirty, and I don't know, a lot of these diseases would come from a very risque or offbeat lifestyle.
Yeah.
Sharing needles is so many of these diseases, and having sex with so many different people, and it is pretty amazing.
It's something that if you're following God's word and trying to live like that, you won't get anything like that in the first place.
Right, exactly. It doesn't make sense. It's antithetical to life. It's you have you have your temple, and you have faith in God and the fact that we're made and not random. And I think knowing all that, you're going to treat your temple better. You're going to put a lot more emphasis on what's important and not sully yourself with such random and crazy chaotic behavior as whoring around. And I always just saw it. I never wanted to do it, but I felt when I was doing it in college, it was a rite of passage thing. It was like I have to go through this rigmarole. I have to do this, take a lot of different drugs, drink a lot when I didn't really want to, and then also have sex or like have relations with a lot of different people so I understand what I like. And to some extent, I think that's true, but a lot of times it felt like just erroneous and like enforced and.
Well, it's so hedonistic too. It's just like when you have no purpose in life and the only thing in life is pleasure, then you do something like that.
Exactly, and I think we're brought into a society where you have all these pleasure pools surrounding you, and it's like pick one. Oh, you like these video games? Oh, good. Oh, you like these sports? Oh, you like the sweet confectionery candy. There's so many things that. They may have good aspects to them, but they can easily be abused. And then at the end of the day, is it venerating God? And how do we do that? And I think it takes a little bit more. Like you have to learn a lot more about how this place.
I think we're at the 10-minute mark. That's when it shuts down.
Okay, so let's see if it. You still hear me?
No, I still hear you. Yeah,
okay,
I still hear you. It was just for a second.
Okay. And. We have this platform, this life, to really figure out this place, and I think we've been lied to so heavily. So we have all this inquiry. We can go anywhere we want with it, and we don't have to rely on the experts. And it's just literally study this place, every nook and cranny of it, and understand what. No, just do you. Who cares what they're doing? Like they're doing them. Like that's fine.
Yeah. To be like so prevalent when I'm talking to Denver. Like they want to know who we think is like the coolest, who we think is the hottest. All of that stuff over and over. Like I just didn't get it. I didn't really think anyone was attractive on the female celebrities.
No, not really. I mean,
yeah.
I think with the advent of porn, you'd be pushed in a certain direction. But yeah, I wasn't like, oh my goodness, Beyonce, or oh my goodness. Like Jessica Simpson, like they would freak me out, and I always thought they're a little thin for me. And I don't know. It was like I kind of knew, but I mean, it's also what I was presented with, so I found fake lust for them. They have like their bellies exposed. Oh, that should be hot. Like I would like find these reasons to find attractiveness in it because they dress like they should be attractive, but then when you look at the skeleton and you look at like what's really going on, then it's really gross. It's like, oh, all the bits and bobs are there. They're doing like the act. Oh, they look attractive, but then you're like, oh, it is an act. I don't like an act. I want somebody who's genuine, and I bet it's the same with natural females, where they feel that same way. Yeah. Where, like, the same way with the free martins, oh, they're so cute, but then they're like, oh, wait a minute, they're just pretending to be a man. Oh, it is cute that they're pretending to be a man, but it's not cute in the way that it's like, I want to, like, lust after them anymore. Because it's like cute in, like, like a childish way. It's satanic, but it's also cute in, like, a childish way where, oh, like, look at them try and imitate a man. It's kind of funny. It's cute. But it's not sexy when you see like, oh, like why do they have like such tiny collarbones, and why do they have, why are their arms way far out? Like why, what? That's not a man. That's like something it's something else. It's a third thing.
Yeah. You're talking to everyone. I gotta head out.
Oh, okay.
Well, we should get an episode count going. We should figure out which episode we're at so we can keep everything sequitur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we're getting close to 10. I think we're probably like 7.
I was thinking 10.
We're up there. We're like 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. And I'm trying. If there's anything, I want to check my phone real quick and see if there's anything else that I wanted to add.
Okay.
Because I think we covered most everything. I wanted to get across that big Atlantis thing. So with waking up well, I mean we did cover most everything. So trying to wake most people up seems vain. You can plant seeds and not go along with spaceball land nonsense. Stand up for created Earth and God, but don't be argumentative. Being argumentative gets us nowhere. Like we talked about before about guest speakers saying that I like flat Earth because I like it. It's like you can have that. You can like. I think we kind of create the thought police. Like we have our own particular version of thought police, and we can easily break through it. It's like there's nothing really there. It's just our own version of thought police, and like they create things that like obviously if you know the news is fake, if you know all this stuff is fake, then all those things are wrong. You can talk about them plainly. Volcanoes are fake. All these fake serial killings and all that, but it's like you'll have your thought police that come out when you're like, oh, I'm around people that are younger. I don't want to like scare them, but it's like you're gonna help them out if you tell them that they're lying to you. Yeah, ultimately, it's better for them that they know that than oh no, like everybody believes that there's this crazy school shooting. No, it's important that you know that they make up stuff on TV and there's all these reasons why and it's a joke, and it's okay to be calm about that and talk about it like that instead of oh my God, how dare I go against the mainstream narrative. It's like it's just like so please go against it. It's so boring and so fake. Please go against it.
Yeah. I'd like to add, for me, gratitude is a commandment. It's avoiding coveting. Like, it's constantly in training world we hear, you gotta be grateful. That's the trick to making your life better. But that's just like a basic thing that we should be doing. We should be grateful for God, for all the good stuff that comes along, and all the challenges as well that strengthen us and make us better human beings. And one big thing I'm grateful for is finding the Tom's Warmap channel. And you.
Yeah.
We're very grateful.
I'm very grateful for finding you. I'm very grateful for you for reaching out. I'm very grateful to this day for Hans's content, and even if stuff I think is cool doesn't continue to make content, her content is treasured. I watch it or listen to it at least once a week. Still, and it's just it's because we are out here in this desert and we're searching for water, for an oasis, for thirst, and that is truth. And these people, they speak to our souls because they're willing to not fake it till they make it. They're willing to speak their mind about what's truly going on in front of us, and it may not be easy, but it feels better knowing that all of us are out here. And it seems like we expand a little bit every day. I mean, we both are getting more subscribers, and I mean, maybe some of those are bots, but maybe for 5 of those bots, there's one real person that would just, happen to find us. And you said you found me through like searching Free Martin, and they're just searching terms, and they're opening up these can of worms, and it's so much more helpful knowing there's a lot of people talking about it than I'm one of the only ones. Like, how can you imagine being Hans and just doing this all himself? Like, it's just it's crazy. Him kind of opening up so much for us, and then us taking more time to study these things, and then opening up other areas. It's we're doing a lot of the legwork too, but it feels so good knowing there's other people doing it. And I'm so grateful that God is working through the Holy Ghost is working through us, and God has given us this path.
Absolutely. I wish I could say more, but I really can't.
It's amazing. I'm hearing you tear up right now because it means so much. It really it's hard to find, and I've been thinking about too. Like, we got to talk more in addition to these podcasts too, because it is like there are just days and days where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not talking to you, or like not, I don't know, like reaching out to people that get it.
Right.
And
the link of ideas is definitely real.
It's real, and it's good. It's good finding these kernels of truth, these little gold shards in so much counterfeit, and every day I look forward to just digging further and having less of like the fake stuff in front of me. It's so easy to discern what the fake stuff is. You just glance right over it. Like we talked about earlier in the show about fear-mongering slop trough that you run into on web pages. You can easily X out of that, or go to the good stuff. Like it's very easy to find. It's very once you know that once you know how big they lie and see how few people are talking about the depth of it. It gets really easy to narrow down. Oh, this person just talks about chemtrails. This person just talks about strats, swires. They don't talk about anything else. And
I hate the amount of just flat Earth shows.
Flat Earth.
So many of them.
They just sit on that, and it's annoying. It's because it's such a big thing. I get why they need so many people around that one. Because it really opens up the whole world to you. It's like being born again. Like I can't think of a more fitting scientific definition than being born again, than realizing you've been told a lie and the world that you believed in for so long isn't what really it is. And you have this amazing created world with a lot more. Like Hans made that video on God's amazing creation about the various, what was it? The various cells of shells and seeds, and it was insect egg cases. Oh my goodness, just the design, it's phenomenal. It's clearly created. It's not random and made to withstand certain environments and certain habitations, and it's so good to feel that. And it's just such a light where before we were just wandering around blind, and we felt pretty nihilistic and sought out things that filled that void. Oh, I want to be a nihilist like these other nihilists, and watch porn and just not care about anything, and everything is just for pleasure.
More than Rick and Morty. That's all I need.
Rick and Morty, exactly. Rick and Morty is a great essence of that. What they want is just this drunk ass scientist who has all this intelligence and runs around and just who gives a shit. I'm gonna fuck up whoever's life I want just to see things happen. And it is like this. So much of our culture is just like, oh, I don't have to see you, so I'm going to do all this stuff, or I have this ladder here, I'm not going to give it to you, even though I can give it to you. And I think us Hans, we're doing it with each other, whether it's in comments or on us talking in person. We're doing it. We're planting good seeds, and we're doing the opposite of that. We're not doing this nihilistic route. We're caring deeply about each other and trying to figure out source issues and how to work, or not how to work around them, how to solve them, and how to address them effectively. Because you're in a hostile world that doesn't want to have these deeper conversations, that actively hides real human users. I mean, we are actively hid. You cannot easily search for our content.
Yeah. We're
not advertised. We're not broadcasted, and it's amazing. It's God. It's gotta be. It's like people that are actually willing to bear your cross. I mean, literally, to take God's will in mind and not just live for your imagination, live for the greater good, and live for God's plan, live for this earth, this place under the dome being healthy and viable and filled with fruit trees, and not a place that's filled with lies and compartmentalization. It has more connective roots that we can actually connect.
I have some ideas for some future content. We gotta do the route that Hans did. We gotta start pointing out things like Emperor Penguins being fake in a video, or other controversial subjects. Just go right through them, go through the arena. We already know what the result is, but we can explain it to other people, our way of doing it, and get some hate. That's what we need. We need as much hate as we can get, because that's the only publicity we're gonna get.
It's so true. Yeah, I mean, you think about his biggest video, Emperor Penguins, and then I think the D-Day one. It hit home. I think people were really pissed because it's such a big psyop, and Penguin is just a big. I think Free Martin, Emperor Penguin specifically, character as the main villain in Batman, and I think it hit people home, and it's just. it's a clown animal that they have everywhere, and it's calling it out. It's a big aspect of their lives and their whole culture that he's basically saying this is wrong. Stop doing it. And same with the war thing. I mean, knowing that all that war is fake, it's such a big shift in consciousness. You go from immediately like this protective, I don't want to be involved with war, or there's people actively around me that have all these guns and stuff, to, oh, there's way less violence actually going on in that way than ever was presented. It's just they get you to think it because it's in front of you all the time. If you don't get a job, you gotta go to the army and put some time in, and you that's the only way you're gonna be able to afford to go to college. It's this very militant mindset instead of, oh no, like all that is circus, and like all these quote unquote tough war heroes, they're just jesters. It's so good to say that instead of, oh, like we hold up these people that killed all these people because we're fighting in these perpetual wars. They're just jesters, and they put on a play during the play, or whatever. They put on a reenactment during the enactment. Like,
yeah,
it's like calling it out and receiving that hate because it's so integral to their like livelihood or how they identify themselves. So what? I don't have anything in my life that I'm willing. I garden a lot. I play music, but if you can take something away from me, I'm not going to be like furious. I'll just focus on something else. I'm not going to be like I went to war and therefore I'm a veteran, and people will always refer to me as a veteran. I have veteran on my license plate. I get all the veterans deals. So for Hans to come up and take that rug from underneath you and say, actually you're a liar. Actually you just went to camp with a bunch of Free Martins and laughed and probably drank and did all sorts of weird stuff, walked the line. Like, it's going to make people pissed, but everybody needs to hear that because it's what we all want to say. It feels so good to say that because it's the truth.
All right. Well, I really have to go. I can't get caught doing this.
Okay, this is fun. All right, yeah.
All right, talk to you later, bro.
All right, talk to you later, bro. Bye. That was great. Gotta go down there. All right, hope you guys had a great podcast. Get this up.